Welcome student. In this lecture the metal cutting. So in this lecture we will study the basics of metal cutting, then the mechanics of chip formation, how the chip is formed in the metal cutting, the basic geometry of single point cutting tool, and the methods of machining. Now what is a metal cutting? Metal cutting is also called as a machining operation. Okay. uh, it is the process of removing the material from the workpiece in the form of chips. Okay, so when the material is removed in the form of chips, any required shape can be produced from the workpiece. Now the basic disadvantage of this process is that when the material is removed in the form of chips, it is the wastage of material. Okay, so this is the main disadvantage of this process. Otherwise this process has very important characteristics. uh, it can improve the dimensional accuracy, uh, it can produce the tolerances whatever specified by the designer. So this is the process which can get the internal and external surface feature whatever you want to produce. So it can produce very easily with the help of this process. Then what is the cutting process actually? You can say when we are say it is a chip removal process. Now for the chip removal or for the machining operation, the basic requirement is that there should be the relative motion between the tool and workpiece. Okay, so in the second year in the machine tool operations already we have seen all these processes, how the metal cutting process will work. When there is a contact between tool and workpiece, the material is removed in the form of chips. Okay, relative motion means what? Either tool is rotating or the workpiece is rotating, and the feed is given to the tool or the workpiece. So unless and until there is a relative motion between the two, we cannot remove the material in the form of chips. So this is the basic requirement in the machining. There should be the relative motion between the two, workpiece and the cutting tool. Secondly, what is the basic requirement in machining? The basic requirement is that your tool should be harder than the workpiece. That is, the hardness of the cutting tool should be more than your workpiece. Okay, so this is the basic requirement. Otherwise, what happens if the hardness of workpiece is less? If the hardness of workpiece is more and the hardness of tool is less, your workpiece will get machined. Okay, so chips will be produced from the tool rather than your workpiece. Okay, so this should not be happen. You have to always see what type of material you are machining, and based on that you have to select the cutting tool during machining. Okay, then we have non-cutting processes, casting, rolling, drawing, forging, shearing. Okay, so there is no contact between tool and workpiece. Okay, in the casting we are pouring the molten metal into the mold. Whatever is the size and shape of the mold, we will get the casting. Then rolling, we are manufacturing the bars with the help of the rolling. Then wire drawing, we are manufacturing the wires with the drawing. Forging operation, we can produce the any shapes component with the help of forging operation. Okay, then shearing is just the cutting operation. So we have the two types of process, cutting process and non-cutting process. uh, then we'll see the mechanics of chip formation. I can see that in the mechanics of chip formation, how the chip is produced in the workpiece. So this is the cutting tool, the workpiece, and when there is a contact between a tool and the workpiece, the chip is produced. So this is the chip. Okay, a wedge shaped tool. So this is a wedge shaped tool. It is made to move relative to the workpiece. So as the tool makes the contact with the metal, it exerts the pressure on it, resulting in compression of the metal near the tool tip. Okay, near the tool tip the metal will get compressed. So this will induce a shear type of deformation within the metal. So this will induce a shear type of deformation within the metal, and it starts moving upward along the top face of the tool. Okay, so as the tool advances, the material ahead of it will be sheared continuously along the plane called shear plane. Okay, so shearing of the metal will be continuous. So this plane will shift from point to point continuously as the tool advances. So this shear plane will be shifting, okay, continuously, and the material will be shearing along the plane that is called shear plane. So this will be the shear plane. Okay, the surface along which the chip moves upward is called the rake surface of the tool, and this is the another surface that is called the flank surface. It is relieved, so some angle is given. So this relieved because there should not be rubbing action between the flank surface of the tool and the machine surface, otherwise your machine surface will get affected. Okay, so purposefully it is relieved with the help of small relief angle. Relief angle may be from the 1 degree to the 5 degree. Small relief angle is provided at the trailing end of the tool to avoid the rubbing between the two surfaces. Then this is the thickness of chip before cutting, then the thickness of chip after cutting. Okay, alpha is the rake angle of the tool. It is the angle between the rake surface and the normal to the tool rake surface. Okay, and theta gamma is shown here as a relief angle. Phi is the shear angle. Now this mechanics of chip formation is similar for the single point cutting tool as well as for multi point cutting tool. The only difference is that in multi point cutting tool the number of points are in contact with the workpiece are more, whereas in single point cutting tool the number of points in contact with the workpiece is only 1. So what is a single point cutting tool operation? Turning is a single point cutting tool operation, then facing is a single point cutting tool operation, then multi point cutting tool we can have drilling is a multi point cutting tool operation, milling is a multi point cutting tool operation. So this mechanics of chip formation is applicable to the single point cutting tool as well as multi point cutting tool. Now let's see the basic geometry of the single point cutting tool. Then later on we will go into the detail of the single point cutting tool. Now this is your side cutting edge, or it is also called as a major cutting edge. The portion below the side cutting edge is called as the side flank or the major flank. Now this is your end cutting edge, or it is called as a minor cutting edge also, and portion below the end cutting edge is called the end flank or minor flank. So then this one is the top surface is called the face of the tool, then the shank of the tool, the axis of the tool, the base of the tool. Now this is the basic geometry of the single point cutting tool. Okay, we will go in detail later on with the help of the different angles, the geometry of the single point cutting tool. Then we have two types of single point cutting tool. One is your right hand cutting tool, another is the left hand cutting tool. Now what is the right hand cutting tool and what is the left hand cutting tool? Both the tools can be used on lathe machine during machining. Now we can see that the right hand cutting tool. Now right hand cutting tool is the tool we have to identify in this manner. If you keep your right hand, if you keep your right hand on the tool with the palm downwards and finger pointing towards the nose, and if your thumb shows the major cutting edge, so this is the major cutting edge. If your thumb shows the major cutting edge, then this is your right hand cutting tool. Okay, keep your right hand on the tool in this manner with the palm downward and finger pointing towards the nose. So this is the nose of the tool with the finger pointing towards the nose, and if your thumb shows the major cutting edge, then this is your right hand cutting tool. What is the left hand cutting tool? Now similarly, you keep your left hand on the tool in such a way that your palm is downward, your finger pointing towards the nose, so this is the nose of the tool, and if your thumb shows the major cutting edge, so this is the major cutting edge. Okay, so if your thumb shows the major cutting edge, then this will be your left hand cutting tool. So very easily we can easily identify whether it is a right hand cutting tool or it is a left hand cutting tool. Okay, now what is the significance of this right hand tool and left hand cutting tool? When it is when we are going to use the right hand tool and when we are going to use the left hand tool. Now let's see that the significance. Now right hand cutting tool, you can see that right hand cutting tool will cut from right to left. Okay, right to left of the operator. Okay, so this one is your right hand cutting tool. Right hand cutting tool will cut from right to left, that is from tailstock to headstock of the lathe machine. Okay, so when you feed the tool from right to left, it will remove the material. Now this is the turning operation. Okay, so your right hand cutting tool will cut from right to left. Okay, that is from tailstock to headstock. Now left hand cutting tool, now this one is the left hand cutting tool. Left hand cutting tool will always cut from left to right. Left to right means what? In this direction. So this will cut in this direction. Left to right means what? From headstock to tailstock. Okay. So in this way we can use both the types of tool, right hand cutting tool and left hand cutting tool, for machining. Now let's see the methods of machining. We have two types of machining methods. One is orthogonal cutting, or it is also called as a two-dimensional cutting, and second is oblique cutting or three-dimensional cutting. Okay. Now this is your tool. Tool is moving in this direction, and it is removing the material in the form of chips. So this is the velocity vector. It is shown. In oblique cutting also, this is the direction. Okay. Now what is the basic difference between the two? You can see that in orthogonal cutting, the cutting edge of the tool is perpendicular to the velocity vector v, whereas in oblique cutting, the cutting edge is set at some angle other than 90 degree. Okay, so this forms the inclination angle. So other than 90 degree, your cutting edge is inclined with respect to the velocity vector. So this gives the inclination angle. Okay. Now this, because of this arrangement, we can see that the forces generated will be two-dimensional. That's why it is called two-dimensional cutting, and the forces in this cutting will be three-dimensional. That's why it is called three-dimensional cutting. The analysis of oblique cutting is very complex because it is a three-dimensional cutting and relatively simple arrangement of orthogonal cutting. So it is therefore widely used in the theoretical and experimental work. So this is the basic difference between the orthogonal cutting and oblique cutting, and because of the complexity in orthogonal oblique cutting, it is not widely used in the analysis. Okay, whereas this is widely used in cutting also. The orthogonal cutting edge is perpendicular to the velocity vector in the first one, and cutting edge is inclined to the velocity vector, giving rise to some inclination angle in case of oblique cutting. Okay, so this is what we have studied in the today's lecture. The basics of your machining, how the chip formation mechanism occurs in the machining operation, then the basic geometry of single point cutting tool, and some methods of machining. In the next lecture, we will study in detail the geometry of single point cutting tool, what is the influence of the tool angles, and what is the significance of these tool angles. Whenever we are selecting the angles on the tool, how this will work.